Yo, 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 everybody. And when I say everybody, I hope that's at least somebody has tuned into one of these last second live streams. I haven't done one in like forever. You know why? Because I've been working. That's why. This is a week of celebration for me because the book is done. I mean, by the book, I mean Wraith of God, Blood Hunters is done. 108 pages. It's so heavy, I can't even hardly lift it. Um, so I've been going through all this editorial process the last four weeks, right? The only drawing I've actually done has been on Graybeard Studio because every day I've been in front of this computer putting files together, coloring stuff, fixing stuff, re-editing stuff, and then of course re-editing stuff. Um, it's the part that I like least in this whole process is actually when I was working in the mainstream, I would just draw the pages and I would turn them into Marvel or DC or Archie or whoever I happened to be doing the job, Dark Horse, whoever I happened to be doing the job for. And then they had a production department that did all of this stuff. Now I'm the production department. So I finish the drawing, I hand it to myself, and then the whole editorial process of putting the book together begins. And not that I don't mind it, but it's this feeling of you think you're done and you send it to your designer, and then 2 hours later the designer gets back to you and goes, this is wrong, this doesn't work, you misspelled this, did you leave a word out here, why don't these balloons work? And then you're right back to fixing stuff. And I mean, and every time you read it and proofread it, you find something. There's always something. But I think I got everything. As many times as I've read Blood Hunters and all the backup stories, I should have it memorized by now. So it is going to the printers today, but then the designer contacted me earlier today and was like, hey, what's the deal with this, and how am I supposed to load this, and why is it, I'm like, so I had to call my printing rep and get that straightened out to give him the information. So I think I think he's got the information he needs to actually upload the files. And what I'm being told right now is the book will probably be getting back to me from the printers early October, mid-October, somewhere in that neighborhood. So by the time we get the proofs and everything, which will probably be a week or so from now, and I sign off on the proofs and they go ahead, probably be 3 weeks from that point. So yeah, we're looking at probably mid-October before the books come in here, and then I'm able to start shipping them out to you guys. But through this whole process, I've been doing trading cards, stretch goal trading cards, the bookmark, all these different things. And it's just amazing how you think you're done and you're just not. And but everything is, I think, done for Wraith of God, Blood Hunters, and everything's at the printers. In fact, some of the trading cards and stuff are on their way back to me right now. So from the printers, so stuff is getting done, and so it won't be long now before you guys that have supported the book and backed the book will have it in your hands. And then I have to, hope that the critics like it. But if you haven't backed Wraith of God, Blood Hunters, sorry, a message just came up on my screen from my designer. If you haven't backed the book and you want to get it, there's still 3 days left, I think, because we're closing out Monday on Comicsgate Kings, as far as I know right now. That's going to be the closeout date. And when I say closeout, I mean close out, done, no more ordering. There will be extra copies you'll be able to order from my website down the road, but in terms of this campaign and getting all the goodies that come with the campaign, and there's a lot of goodies, this is the only way you'll get it, is to be able to back the campaign. So you'll find the link in the description of this video if you'd like to go to Wraith of God, Blood Hunters and check it out before it closes. And then on top of that, I'll be launching Kit Carter, Planet Doom, the graphic novel, right after this closes out, well, a couple weeks after it closes out. So there's an early sign up on Indiegogo right now for Kit Carter, and the link is in the description of the video as well for that. So you can go sign up for that, so you can get all the information and get the free David Williams trading card with your order. You don't get the David Williams trading card if you don't sign up early. So sign up early. And there you go. I think that's all the sales pitch I got to do. What I have to do, though, today is I have to get back to drawing. And I thought I'd invite you guys in and watch me try and work out how to design the cover to this Kit Carter graphic novel. We'll talk more about that in just a moment, but let me address the chat here. It's light, so it won't take too long. Leg Kick is here because Leg Kick, of course, is almost always here. Paul Brillard is here, our resident engineer. Squibs, last second. Whoa. Yes, indeed. And for $4.99, Squibs, thank you so much. I'm sorry you trashed the Goonies and I lashed out. Please forgive me. I hate the Goonies, so you can trash the Goonies as much as you like. I never said I was on board with the Goonies. You were, was it Comic City Kings? Oh, you were getting on me for saying that I chastised the chat when I wasn't, because people were questioning, it was professionals, were questioning, somebody in the chat was questioning whether or not, do we even read the chat? And I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that we actually did read the chat. And even though we didn't respond to every single thing that's up there, we do read the chat. That's all I was saying. And then Squibs came after me and, just got ugly. Not really. So anyway, Squibs, I love you. Don't worry about it. It was just all good fun and games. But thank you for the $4.99. I'm glad I made you feel bad enough to send me $4.99. I will do it more often. Fox Mulder is here. Excited to see what you've planned for yet another great character of your own creation. After proofreading and checking mistakes and fixing this and fixing that on Wraith of God Bloodhunters, I'm really very satisfied with the backup stories and the expansion of the Loprestiverse. And I think you guys will get a kick out of it too, because we have the nightclub story, which is 15 pages. And if you haven't read or haven't ordered the Garbage Man trade paperback, you might want to consider doing that. It is available in the campaign, Wraith of God Bloodhunters campaign. And it also will have copies available in the Kit Carter campaign, as well as on my website here, if I ever get the store set up. But that, of course, has the first appearance of the nightclub. And then, of course, those of you who got the first Wraith of God graphic novel, there was a 3-page epilogue at the end of that that sort of set up the nightclub and Mr. Midnight's connection, perhaps, to the Wraith. So there's a little bit more hinted at that in this story. And then the Garbage Man story, I love the Garbage Man story. It's just a lot of fun. It's very, I don't expect anybody out there to be the biggest fan of Wrightson as I am, but if you have any sort of affection for Wrightson, you'll really get a kick out of the story, I think. And then, of course, the Kit Carter stuff, which is kind of warming you guys up for the launch of the graphic novel. So there's just, it's a diverse collection of stories. And I think moving forward, it won't be in the Kit Carter graphic novel. That's a standalone graphic novel. But in the next Wraith of God 3, Fear Hollow, which we'll be looking for, we'll be launching that in the spring. That's going to have a backup story in it. So we'll have the probably, I don't know, 60-ish page Wraith of God story in there. And then there'll be a backup story featuring one of the other properties that I have, the IPs I have. And it seems like the best way to sort of get that stuff out to you guys so you can experience it and then, sort of express your opinion on it. But it does feel like Wraith of God now starts to feel like it's a part of something bigger, and it's a lot of fun. So hang in there. Let's see. Squib says he's super stoked for Kit Carter. Mike McMahon, this is going to be the best book of the year. Thank you, sir. I hope so. I hope so. Zaid Comics is here, also known as Merv the Astro Chimp. Thanks for joining us, Phil. Kevin Thomas, Kit Carter looks great. Happy to add to the Lopresti collection. Well, thank you. Let's see. Henry Jeremick is here all the way from Oregon. Aaron, do you have a series of cover layouts for the design of the Kit Carter cover? No, because we're going to be doing it right now. But I will after this video or after this live stream. I guess it is a video if you're watching it after the fact. Beginning to wonder if Aaron likes any movies that aren't Jaws or Wrath of God. I like a ton of movies. I just expect to be treated like I'm an intelligent human being. And when you don't do that and you create a movie that doesn't treat me like an intelligent human being, I then get turned into grumpy old Aaron. So Kevin Thomas says, I like the backup stories. Well, the thing about the backup stories is, as I said, they're all connected to the broader universe. So it kind of gives you this feeling of community, and they have a different tonality to them, which I'm really happy about. I was like, okay, I'm the writer, obviously, on all of them, and the artist on most of them, actually on all of them. And it was like, are these all going to feel like just an extension of Wraith of God? But they don't. They have different feels. They're completely different things. And so I think you'll get a kick out of it. I really do. I hope so anyway. Birdman Burr wants to know, when is the next Greybeards auction? Okay, this coming week will be episode 38 and 39, and 40 will be the next auction. So 3 weeks. 3 weeks. So this coming Wednesday, the following Wednesday, and the Wednesday after that. You have to look at your calendar. I don't have one in front of me, but that will tell you when the next Greybeards auction will be. All right. So the thing about the Kit Carter graphic novel. Oh, and also please hit the like and subscribe if you haven't. We're up over 3,000 subs now, which is great. I'm clawing my way to the top very slowly. But I think it's possible to get to 4,000 before the end of the year. And with your help, gosh darn it, I can do it. Aaron, how about making your characters the theme of the next Greybeards? It is my turn to choose. I don't know if I want to dominate it that much and just make it all about me. Maybe I should, though. That's a good idea, Roy. I'll think about it. Yeah. Anyway, so Kit Carter. Hang on a second. Let me check this message real quick from my designer, make sure. Okay. I think the instructions were clear, so I think we're good. Yay. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to assume that you guys aren't so old, or pardon me, I'm the one that's so old, that you're so young that you don't remember the Marvel graphic novels of the 80s, right? Let me walk off camera for a second, which is always such a great idea when you're doing a live stream. But I want to show you a couple of things here. If I can find them. Why can't I ever find stuff when I want to find it? Okay, here we go. I found it. All right. So in the 80s, Marvel had this sort of series of graphic novels, right? I think the very first one was The Death of Captain Marvel, followed up by the X-Men God Loves, Man Kills, I think. But you remember these, right? Like The Punisher, Return to Big Nothing. This is a hardcover by Stephen Grant and Mike Zeck. I saw Stephen Grant in San Diego this year. These are really cool. Some nice Zeck artwork in there. These were uniformly 64 pages, 8.5 by 11. You might remember this one. This was Frank Miller and Bill Sienkiewicz Daredevil graphic novel. Okay. Maybe you'll remember The Incredible Hulk and the Thing graphic novel by Jim Starlin and Bernie Wrightson. Okay. So these were all formatted 64 pages, 8.5 by 11. And that's what Kit Carter is going to be. It's going to be in this format, just like this. There will be two options. There will be a paperback cover, which I already have commissioned by a top, very expensive artist who did a painting for me, and painting, color illustration, however you want to phrase it. I'm not going to reveal that till the campaign goes live. but it is sitting right up there. It's still wrapped up though, and that'll be the regular paperback edition. I will be doing a signed and numbered limited edition hardcover. So you have two options to choose from. You'll have the hardcover, which again will be signed limited edition, signed and numbered by me, every copy, and it'll be hardcover. And then there'll be the paperback version by this other artist. And the reason I'm doing it that way is because I can't do a signed and numbered edition with him because I have to ship all the books to him, and then it'd just be a pain in the butt. So we're going to flip it, and I'll be the signed and numbered edition. Well, he'll be the trade, if you will, edition, or the regular edition. No, it's not David Williams. Numpty, I do, but my store isn't open yet because I haven't had a chance to get all the files to the guy who does my website to get the store open. The problem with it is almost all my other books are now sold out because they were all, I've been making them part of the campaigns as I've gone along, and people have been buying them through the campaigns, and they're almost completely gone, with the exception, I think, I may have a few copies of my sketchbook saved from the trash. But I tend to make my sketchbooks and my art books signed, numbered, limited edition books, so they're not readily available past, whatever the edition size is. We will be having a Graybeard sketchbook at the end of this year that I believe is going to be hardcover, and so that'll be something that you'll want to keep your eyes open for. But I'm hoping in the next 3 weeks to get the store opened before I launch Kit Carter and have to start drawing and working on Kit Carter. So keep your eyes open for that. But it is aaronlopresti.com. Just go to aaronlopresti.com and it'll take you to my website. The store isn't open, but some of the information pages and some of the art pages are. Nope, it's not Adam either. Although Adam would have been perfect. Yeah, I'm kind of thrilled about it because it's going to be slightly bigger format. I'm going to switch cameras here so you guys can, and we can actually show you the difference. I've got some stuff here we'll take a look at. Okay. And it'll be the same price. It's, well, the hardcover signed and numbered limited edition will be more money, obviously, but the regular edition will be $25, just like we've been doing. But this is a 8.5 by 11, right? So this is basically, we'll talk about this sketch in a minute. That's basically the size of these graphic novels. And here's your regular comic book, right? So it's a little bit taller and a lot wider. So all the pages will be formatted to be an 8.5 by 11 graphic novel. I just always wanted to do one, and Kit Carter, I think, is the perfect property to do that. This, of course, is, I screwed up the signature on this Wraith of God. So, but this is the first printing of Wraith of God #1. I might have some of these left after fulfillment on this next campaign. We shall see. If I do, I'll let everybody know in case somebody wants a first printing. So anyway, we're designing the cover to fit this format. Okay, so Kit Carter was originally conceived as just kind of I was looking for something that people might want to make people pick up my sketchbooks, right? And so I created Kit Carter, and then I as a 50s sci-fi serialized movie, B-movie send-up, okay? And so keeping with that theme, I thought, wouldn't it be kind of fun if I designed the cover to kind of look like a old movie poster, like Raquel Welch and 1 million years BC, or Barbarella or something like that, right? So this is one of the concepts right here. The problem I may or may not be having with this is that, is Kit Carter big enough, right? Here's the villain. We got some, it looks like a Muppet, but it's supposed to be some sort of alien beast. There's Merv with his beer. You've got silhouette of, some warriors or something down here. And then, of course, the title, Planet Doom. So it'd say up here, Kit Carter, Galactic Ranger in Planet Doom. You got your Empire Comics logo up there. So that's kind of the concept, but I need to work through it a little bit more because I'm not sure. I might want to make her bigger. So we'll take a look at a couple of options. Now, what is this, pray tell? This is going to be the mini print that'll be part of the campaign. So on the very first campaign, we had the Wraith of God print. On the campaign that Blood Hunters, we have the Garbage Man print, signed print. And then this will be the Kit Carter print that comes with this campaign. So we always do like a mini print, part of a series really, that comes with each with each campaign, or is available through each campaign. And I do have, they are signed, numbered, limited edition, but I do have extras. I have about 20 left of the Wraith of God, the original Wraith of God print. I'll probably have 80 extra of the Garbage Man, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then, of course, the Kit Carter one will go up on the campaign. I also think we're going to be doing a coin medallion. I really dig those. And so I want to do a Kit Carter, like gold coin medallion thing that Billy Tucci's done some. I know Graham's done some on this campaign. And I think they're pretty cool. So this is actually based on a sketch I did of in my sketchbook of Kit Carter, and I was doing a convention several years ago, maybe 7 years ago now, and they wanted, last minute, they said, hey, can you do a print for the show? And I didn't have anything, I didn't have time to draw anything. So I took this color sketch I did in my sketchbook, blew it up, and made it into a print. It's this, but without Merv and without the details on the monster. It's just Kit being captured by these tentacle things. And so I thought, if I actually did it as a finished piece instead of just a marker sketch in my sketchbook, it'd actually be a pretty good piece. So that's kind of what the idea is here, is to do this, kind of take what this sketch was in my sketchbook that I've got turned into quite frankly, a pretty crappy looking print for a show several years ago, and actually turn it into a really nice finished piece. So that's where that's headed. All right, enough of that. He's right. You can tell. Yeah, Merv dropped his beer. That's why he's panicking. He's not worried about being crushed to death by the space kraken. He's more worried about his loss of beer. I actually do have a Merv solo story, but we shall see. Anyway, okay. So what I'm thinking is, and for those of you guys who are artists, I don't have there's like a enlargement wheel where you can, a little dial that you say, okay, well, I've got an 8.5 by 11 and I want it to be fit in 11 by 17. How big can I make it? That type of thing. I don't have that sitting here handy. In fact, I don't know where it's at. It's taken me off because I wanted to use it. But what you can do is take whatever your original size of your art is, right? Let's say in this case, it's 8.5 by 11. Okay. So you draw an 8.5 by 11 square. I'm just going to trace this. Okay. But you could draw an 8.5 by 11 square on your paper. Okay, you probably can't see the line, but anyway, so you've got your corner right here, and then your other corner, I can't even see it, is right there, I think. Okay, so you take your two corners and you run your ruler right through it. And this works with any size, right? If you want to do a trading card, but blow it up so it's in proportion, so when you reduce it down. So you go like this. Okay, so the line goes through this bottom corner down here and goes up through the top corner of the 8.5 by 11. So wherever that stops, I'm going to stop it right there. But I can keep this going depending on how big my paper is, and just extend that line as long as I want. And so now this will give me, oops, hard on the floor. This will give me proportions for the cover, the 8.5 by 11 cover. So I can do it this size, and it will reduce exactly down to 8.5 by 11. It's a miracle of science. So anyway, these lines aren't straight, but they're going to be close enough for my purposes. All right, so this is how big we're going to do this. You know, we're going to do this bigger, and we're going to do some variations on this bigger. Okay. All I need is a pencil, and we're ready to rock and roll. I'll get a darker pencil here so that you guys can see better. Okay. So someone said that they felt that maybe Kit was too small. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so let's say the Empire logo goes right here. Now the Kit Carter logo goes like this. It's kind of like an Indiana Jones kind of, right? So it's going to be probably right here. I'm not going to do all the hard work there. So it goes Kit Carter, and then somehow we've got Galactic Ranger, like that. Okay, for example. Now I could do a little box here, right? Not too dissimilar to what is going on here, or even I think on this Frank Miller, Bill Sienkiewicz, I think they did the same thing. Sort of got a box element here for the artwork, although that's really part of the artwork. It's not really a box per se, but we could go that route. So Danky Frankie says SEO is how well a site appears in search results. When I search Aaron Lopresti, it doesn't come up. When I search Aaron Lopresti website, it's like the 8th result. Well, then just type in aaronlopresti.com and it'll come right up. Okay, so the problem with this cover design is if I make this title prominent, I'm taking up a lot of room for the art. Right? Okay, so let's say we do that, just for the sake of argument. So now basically I've got this much room to do something. So what can I do? Well, I could come in here and make Kit this big. And I'm going to stick with the same pose I originally designed here. I may change it, and maybe I could have her overlapping just a little bit here. This is generally how I rough stuff out. I don't do the stick figure thing. I kind of outline it until it sort of comes together. Okay. It's the best angle, but maybe a little bit better there. I'm going to do a slight redesign on her costume as well, which is part of the story arc, so I won't give it away. Okay. So we kind of do like that, where maybe she's standing on the logo. Right. Can't stand that figure at all, but that's okay. We're just positioning for the moment. Just trying to work out the just say I don't like the figure, but that's okay. And here I am fixing it. That's life. Life of an artist. Never satisfied. At least you shouldn't be. I know I'm not. Okay. So I'm wondering if maybe if I that shoulder needs to drop and then maybe dip her head down a little bit more. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, so we have this as potential potential pose. So she's going to be, I mean, I could make this smaller up here, which would give me more room to make her bigger. See, this is the process, man. It's like you do this stuff and you got to have a lot of erasers. So let's say we do make this smaller because that'll give us more. I can make her bigger then. I don't want to make the title too small, but we could just go like this. It could be smaller like this because Planet Doom is so big. In fact, I could move it off to the side too. Let's try that. So I can bring this over here. I don't think I want it that close to the trim up here, but okay, so we go Kit, Carter, Blue, and we go Galactic Ranger here. And that see, now we're getting somewhere. So I think that gives, I can make her another head taller, and then I think Kit becomes big enough to carry the cover as the main subject, as she should be. I get what you're saying, man, but I want this kind of to be like a movie poster, and so you're going to present your main character not bruised and battered, but looking. She can get her costume torn up in the inside the comic, and if this was like a regular issue, and not just like a big, sort of an event issue, which this is, being like the Kit Carter graphic novel. If this was just like, even if it was the first issue of comic, I wouldn't go that route. But if it was maybe the second or third issue, and you're in the middle of a story, and you have Kid all, battered and bruised, or costume torn, or in the middle of some action, I think it makes more sense. That's the problem with this being a first issue, and a first issue, a premiere issue. It's like you don't want to get caught in into the trap of just doing like iconic shot that doesn't mean anything, but at the same time, you want to present your character in sort of a really sort of big and heroic uh, light or posture that's like makes you want to buy the book or sell the character, I should say, because no one's familiar with the character. Once they become familiar with it, you can start doing stuff, like Gil Kane's covers where, the hero is getting blasted by some villain or whatever in some dire situation. Which, now that I think about it, it gives me another idea. But let's get this done first, and then we'll explore another idea. But I kind of want to see what this is going to look like. Because I am sort of intrigued by the idea of doing this as kind of a faux movie poster. Because that's really what she was based on, you know? But the cover I commissioned from my guest artist is sort of an iconic shot. So I have to be careful that I don't end up doing two things that are too similar. Because then what's the point? Right? What's the point of having a guest artist if his cover is going to look exactly like yours or yours is going to look exactly like his? I mean, they won't stylistically, obviously, but presentation wise, you want something that is completely different, which is why I do on the Wraith of God books, is why I do the like the Marvel tribute covers or throwback covers, so that there's something really different. So the main cover is, me doing my interpretation of the Wraith of God issue, but then the other ones are something that are completely different to appeal to, somebody else's maybe different tastes, right? Okay, so that's a pretty good figure. Still not quite as dramatic as I would like to pose, but it will suffice for our purposes. Okay, so now you've got a fairly decent sized shot of Kit Carter here. We have the title logo there, which is, Planet Doom. So that's pretty big. And so then we've got we got our villain here, cross between Thanos and Beta Ray Bill, apparently. I do like the design of him though, so I'm keeping it. Probably because he is based on those creations, or at least those concepts are in my head. Okay, so he's gonna take up one side of this because he's important. He's our main villain. See, I gave him the Thanos chin. Okay. All right, so we got him here. I gotta come up with a really cool creature design. I originally had like just a dinosaur type thing, but it's like I gotta do better than that. Yeah, let's see what we want to do. We're gonna go a little like maybe a rhinoceros or something like that. Sort of look to it. Scoot that over so you guys can see that. There. So go some double horned action here on the snout. Create some craggy, rocky So here we got to be careful that he doesn't encroach too much on Kit. Maybe he's got a tail that whips up back here. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so we got this monster down here. And then what we'll do is we'll make Merv down here. And of course, Kit would be right here. He's got a gun out. Put those air tanks back there. Okay. We did a better job on Merv than I did. Okay, so this creature needs work, but for our purposes here, then I want to go big shot of Merv here because he's important. I always make these goofy sidekicks and they end up being the most popular characters because everybody wants a Merv action figure. I want a Merv action figure. I wonder what our fascination with monkeys is. Make the ears bigger. Yeah, I don't want that guy encroaching on his face. Lower it a little bit, at least enough so we can see his expression. Of course, he's going to have a can of space beer in his hands. You'll have it frothing over. Okay. Okay, so really we've got this kind of space to fill here, and I'm going to stick with my original inclination here. In fact, I'm going to ink this a little bit, just for the heck of it. Comics for Life says, what do you think about writing Kit Carter as her background with different scenes within each word or letter, not unlike what Perez did for the history of DC Universe? What do you think about writing Kit Carter as her background with different scenes within each word or letter, not unlike what Perez did for the history of DC? I think I know what you're talking about. I mean, as a flashback or something? I mean, certainly not on every page. Craig Smith 2 says, hey, Aaron, what do you think of the college football season so far? Did you hear about the Colorado State coach throwing a shot at Coach Prime? Yes, I did. And I am very displeased with the performance of my Cornhuskers so far. As the college football landscape as a whole, I find it very entertaining. It's my favorite sport. But I'm very disappointed with Nebraska's turning the ball over 8 times in 2 games, and with 2 losses that might have been at least 1 win and possibly 2 if they just hung on to the football. Anyway, there's my college football whininess for today. Fox Mulder says this is essentially the movie poster of Kit Carter I imagined already existing in the Garbage Man universe. If she's a known fictional character in that world, gotcha. Well, I've been. You know what I was originally going to do? I was originally going to do. Movie poster inserts. You guys know what those are, right? They're the 14 by 36-inch posters. Um, and I wanted to do a Kit Carter insert poster, movie poster, and it was going to be for Planet Doom. But I thought, well, I'll just do it as the cover. That makes sense because doing an extra poster of that magnitude, and I was going to paint it and everything, so it looked like a 50s, movie poster, which I would still might do, but there's no way I'll get it done for this campaign. It just have to be something as a side project. But yes, they do, but they have to have a quarterback they can change too, and that may be the problem. Well, okay. Are you talking about within my universe or within somebody else's universe, Comics for Life? Please clarify, and then I'll answer your question. Um, you need new coaches on offense. Well, they've only been there for 2 games. I'm not ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet. Um, execution. I don't think the play calling's been bad. I just think the execution's been horrible. Now, maybe if you don't have the right personnel to run the offense, you need to change. But anyway, you guys can get me going. You can get me talking about college football as easily as you can get me talking about Star Trek. But I got to save my energy for tomorrow's game, so I'm gonna talk about art. Less likely to get pissed off. Okay. So here's where I'm at on this. I have an outline for this. I don't have the script yet. So that's kind of the other thing. It's kind of like I know the elements that are but I don't know specific all the specific elements because I haven't written the script yet. But I do know basically what the story is, and there will be a tier on the campaign for getting all the roughs, and this would be included in there, as this is one of the roughs. My title's running over, but that's all right. I ordered 6 of these, and they only sent me 1. I'm not really sure, but I'm not sure if I got charged for only 1. That's the only thing that's got me a little potentially ticked off. Obviously, this lettering would be in perspective and not just winging it, but for the purposes of our layout here today, I'm going to wing it. I figured you'd probably, on something like this, we're probably going to have, the thick lettering like this. Okay. So You think Michaels sells these? Who said that? I think Michaels sells those. Marcus Killiger does. Oh, well, next time I'm in there, I'll check. And I don't have to order them. Let's see. Wait. You have no problem with the play calling. They should have run against Colorado instead of they passed way too much early on. Um, ye- yeah, I think they were still hopeful that Jeff Sims didn't suck as bad as he does. They ran it quite a bit, but you also have to remember they turned the ball over 4 times, and that who knows what they would have done if they'd hung on to the ball. I mean, that kind of limits your play calling, and then when you're only having 2 or 3 plays, and then suddenly you're behind because of the turnovers. So I don't know if that's. We'll see. We'll see this how it goes this weekend. You may be right, but we'll see how it goes this weekend. Um, Eric Huffle says the Planet Doom letters should be all cracked and rocky looking. That's a good idea. That's a good suggestion. Thank you. I bet you can refill those. If it's Kirtaki, they sell. I don't know if it's Kirtaki. It's all in Japanese, man. I don't know what it says. Yeah, it is Kirtaki. There it is. Established 1902. So they just have random refills for these? Kirtaki, random refills for these? Hmm. All right. There's nothing I hate worse than refilling black pens, though, because that's what I always get all over myself. But I will look into it because it's ridiculous to buy new pens when you can just refill them. You guys aren't letting up on my Nebraska. Yeah, he did, and it's kind of ridiculous to assume that those things are going to improve, which apparently they did assume was going to happen. But um, okay, back to comics. Comics, another universe like Flash Gordon or Adam Strange. If I was going to cross her over, the problem with Kit Carter is it's a humor strip, and I have to decide here very quickly if I'm going to dial back the humor a little bit because when you read the story or the strips, because they're really not a story as much as they are kind of daily newspaper strip type things in the Wraith of God book, the Kit Carter story. Um, they're very um, irreverent, and you know. So the question is, do I? Those of you who've read Power Cubed, which is my other creator-owned book that I did through Dark Horse years ago, um, that's a humorous strip, but it has serious elements in it. Um, and I'm probably going to have to go that direction with Kit Carter. I can't have her be just completely goofball, nonsensical um, silliness like I have, like I first did with her. Um, it'd be more like I think playing her more straight and have Merv be the comic relief. Um, he'll get all the jokes. Um, that's probably how I'm going to end up playing it in this graphic novel. Because when you get too goofy, like Plastic Man Goofy or whatever, you can't really cross her over into anything because it's it's a humor strip, not a serious superhero thing, and all the other stuff is serious superhero stuff. So you gotta strike that balance. Um, and so I want to leave the door open that she could end up someplace else, as a guest star or whatever. And the most logical place for her to be would be Power Cubed because it does have that sort of humorous aspect to it. But I could cross Power Cubed over. Um, it's just his robots. The kid's robots are what are kind of, and his villains are sort of ridiculous. But he's very, normal. He's just in absurd surroundings, and that may be how I have to treat this as well. to give me more flexibility with her down the road. It's kind of small, but again, it's just a layout. It's just a layout. All right. I got to be careful that I don't get so concentrated on what I'm doing that I forget to talk about what I'm doing. Those of you who saw Graybeards Wednesday, I tried out this Pentel brush pen with this synthetic brush in there, and it actually worked pretty well. In fact, let's crack it open. I don't know that I would necessarily use it for drawing like I'm doing here, but you can get a pretty fine point on it, which is what I was surprised about. Of course, I saw Finch using it on his, David Finch using it on his live stream. And so I was like, well, it's good enough for Finch. Don't hold me to this monster either. I'm just kind of messing around here. I created some pretty good alien-looking weird creatures for my Metamorpho miniseries. I suppose I could probably just steal those, right? Speaking of DC, guys, what do you guys think about what Willingham did with Fables? That was outrageous, man. Everybody likes to say that, oh yeah, I'm punk rock or whatever. That was punk rock, I think, don't you? This thing looks happy. He's not supposed to be happy. He's supposed to be mean. So like I said, I wouldn't necessarily use this tool to do what I'm doing. I'm just showing you that it does work. I think it's running out of ink though. Now, these have to be refillable too, but I don't know what ink, if it even makes any difference. You know, for being in the industry as long as I have and working professionally for as long as I have, my limited knowledge about art supplies is shocking. That's why I rely on you guys in the chat because you guys are like, oh, yeah, try this, try that. I'm like, really? What's that? Never heard of it. See, I'm getting a little bit of a dry brush effect here because this is running low. All right, enough of that. I don't have a micron here that's big enough that, you know, this will work. That's a 3, that'll work. Let's see. Anything is possible with Merv, that's for sure. Well, Henry, now you're getting so complex with it that it becomes distracting. But I do like your craggy sort of rock suggestion. Thank you, Frankie says it seems drastic. He's of course referring to what Willingham did. Squib says he's the GOAT. Good for him. Hope he doesn't regret it. It's interesting. Certain people, they can get pushed so far, and they just, they're not going to take it anymore, and that's just who they are. And they apparently, I mean, we don't know exactly all the details, but what he said, in terms of how they were screwing him over or whatever, it's like, I don't know. I mean, he made a very good point. It's like everybody says, "Oh yeah, we'll sue him," blah blah blah, and it's like, well, it costs a ton of money to sue somebody, and it costs even more money when you're suing somebody that has a lot of money, uh, even if you win. But a copyright lawyer told me many many years ago. He said, "It's not your copyright means nothing if you don't have the money to defend it." He said the people that own the copyright are the people that have the money to defend the copyright or to steal it. Um, and him going up against Warner Brothers or even DC Comics without Warner Brothers' help, which they would certainly have, he has no chance of winning that lawsuit. They would drag it out forever until he's broke. And then when you can't proceed, even if you're in the right, you're still going to lose your battle. So that's the unfortunate thing about copyright. And it really is unfortunate. But I remember I had students when I used to teach, and I had students would say, I've got these ideas, but I don't want to, I don't want to put them out there because I don't want someone to steal them. And I said, well, you have two choices. I said, you can keep them in your file cabinet forever and no one will ever steal them, but they'll never get seen. Or you can put them out there and, take your chances that whoever might want to steal it from you may think you have more money than you do and is not going to mess with uh, taking a chance. Because if you can hang in there in the lawsuit and win it, then you can come out okay against, you know, these bigger corporations. But you got to be prepared to go broke. And thankfully, I haven't run into that situation yet. But it's the dangerous living of being creative. I mean, I'm just throwing stuff out there like crazy right now. I mean, it's like not only have I exposed, one IP, Wraith of God, it's like, Kid Carter, the nightclub, the garbage man, and even the stuff I haven't done yet that is in my Empire info page that I've described. And what I'm hoping is that that's actually considered publication. And so those ideas are out and now actually at least can threaten someone if they try to steal it. Whether I'd be able to enforce it or not, who knows? I don't know. You got to go for it and hope things work out in your favor. Or you're just going to sit around never getting to do anything. It says space beer, blah, blah, blah. All right. So then we'd have a crowd of some sort of weird creatures back here, but I'm going to silhouette them because I have no idea what they are at this point. I might be able to work some weird thing right in here. Oops. Yeah, that's too thick. So we'd have this crowd of weirdo barbarian looking creatures, mutant kind of things over here. Looks like somebody wearing Solomon Kane's hat right there. Okay. I can tell you, I've developed several characters that I can't use now, at least can't use the names. That I probably came up with the name first, but never got it published. And someone eventually is going to think of your idea the longer you sit on it. And then you're out of luck, which has happened to me on, because I was coming up with characters. I had one guy called Solar Man when I was a kid, space, and that got, there's Dr. Solar, so there's probably no way I could get away with that. So I changed his name to Spaceman, and now there's another one. It's something as generic as that. And now there's a character called Spaceman. Garbage Man was originally called Wasteland, but there was a Wasteland comic, so I couldn't do that. So yeah, there's all sorts of trying to come up with a, concept, and then especially a name that hasn't been used is challenging. And then people just drop stuff on you, right? And then you're like, okay, great. Now if I use it, I'm stealing this guy's idea. So it's like when people say, "Oh, can I send you an idea?" You're like, "No, no, do not send me any ideas. I don't want to hear them." Because I don't want to be liable for stealing your idea. And it's funny, David Williams has got a superhero universe thing he's planning, right? He's working on. And he told me, the origin of it and how it all come together. And I went, I said, that is exactly what I'm doing. And so I went back and looked at what I was doing. I said, you know what? I can do it this way. So it's not taking David's idea, because obviously I'm getting my stuff out before David is. And so I didn't want him to feel like I was taking his idea, which I wasn't, because I had already conceived it. But the conceptualization of the superhero universes were too similar. And so I had to change mine. And thankfully, I had the characters in place to do that. And so no harm, no foul. Okay. So maybe I put something in here like another character. I don't know. It had to be somebody interesting, but well, for the sake of throwing something in, you can see what it looks like. Let's say we got this hooded dude. Something like that, maybe. Shadow his face in because we have no clue who it is. Actually, I know who that could be now. Okay, so here's one concept, right? Full-sized graphic novel. This would be this wouldn't be the print size. This actually would be the size of the final art. And you might work in what do we got? Maybe a star field back here. Fill that in. This would be atmosphere back here from this planet. I actually kind of like where this monster is headed. I could do something with that. So we Merv, we got this guy who now I know who that is after I already drew him that way. But anyway, we got a bunch of warriors down here. We got our main villain right here. I think that works. Certainly worth consideration. I'll mess around with this pose though. I still think this pose is a little bit, actually looks more dramatic than this one. And I've got some other ideas too. Like there's different ways I could put her in here. But just as kind of a concept layout. Someone asked if I would light table this. If I got it to a point, usually what I do on covers is I will work it and work it and work it until I get a pretty loose but finished drawing, and then I will light table it rather than then try and recreate it again on the new piece of paper. Okay, so there's one possible concept. Now, the other thing that kind of came to mind, and someone had brought this up earlier, is maybe more of an action-oriented cover, right? We'll do it like this. So you'd have like, I don't know, Kit in the foreground. You want to do something so, we're accentuating the figure, obviously, for, I should say, for obvious reasons. So I can probably bring that over more. Let's see, where's that pencil at? I had a pencil. I did. A row of teeth on the villain. Well, he's got more than that. I have to go back and take a look at the character design and see what I've done and what I can add. You're suggesting, of course, the row of teeth would line up like this, but your central focus is going to be here anyway, right? In a layout like this, you're naturally going to, as long as you don't have stuff going off panel. I mean, I know he's looking off this way, but I could have his eye looking back at her, and that'll solve that problem. But you're creating this sort of circular balance here with her in the middle. So it's pretty much encapsulated regardless. But I have to go back and take a look at my design of this guy because a lot of this stuff is very new in my memory, and because I just came up with it. Brandon Esteves for $5. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate that. Hi, Aaron. You mentioned a while back you're going to be in Houston in October. Is it a public event? It is. It's the weekend of Bedrock City's putting on a Comic-Con in Houston, and it's going to be the weekend of October. So I think it's a 2-day show. So it's 7th and 8th of October, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that is the right date. Yeah, but it's Bedrock City. In fact, if you went to bedrockcity.com or Bedrock City Comic Company or whatever it is, just search Bedrock City Comics, and I bet you go to the website, there'll be like plenty of info on it. I actually don't pay attention to that stuff till I actually have to be there. Like next week, I'm going to be at the Rose City Comic Con here in Portland. I totally haven't even thought about it. I'll think about it like Thursday because I have to be there on Friday. Let's see. Oh, the Flintstones holding a yeah, yeah, it's a bedrock. City joke, well, let's see here. Yeah, David gets ripped off more than anybody I've ever met, so I wanted to save him the grief of having me do it. Slavic One, yes, it is. It's my designer just loaded it to up to the printer's website today. They'll check it. That's actually sort of a way station. They check it to make sure the files are formatted correctly. Because once it goes to the printer and they go ahead and print out your proof and you find mistakes because you didn't put it together correctly, then you're paying them extra money. At this point, the my printing rep is will check it. Their tech person will check it and make sure it's all cool, and then they will submit it uh, to the printer. So it's that kind of a safety check. But the book is completely done. It's been done for a week. It's just been re-editing it and fixing all little mistakes you keep finding here and there. But I signed off on it, so it is done, and we're expecting it. I don't have I don't have a specific date yet, but just ballparking early to mid October is when I should have it back and then shipping out to you guys. Um, Brandon says he'll try to make it. I'd love to meet you in person. Love to meet you too, Brandon. If you do get there, come by and introduce yourself. And then when I look at you blankly, go, from the chat, from your live streams, I'll go, oh, of course. Let's see. Okay, so there's also going to be a Kit Carter sketchbook. That's going to be full color. I was amazed to find out how much Kit Carter artwork I have. I mean, it's ridiculous for something that's relatively never been hasn't really been published other than a couple of prints previously. I have a ton of color sketches and work, and they'll all be in this sketchbook that'll also be available. It won't be the same as the roughs sketchbooks that comes with the or is available with the Wraith of God books. Those are all just layouts for the stories. The Kit Carter sketchbook will actually be a color sketchbook of drawings and stuff from my sketchbooks of Kit Carter. So that'll be pretty cool. You get to see all the stuff that, I've developed over the years with the intent of doing exactly what I'm finally doing, and that's a graphic novel. Okay, so we go in with sort of this, I don't know, Gil Kane-ish sort of approach. I don't even know what I'm just thinking out loud here, so don't hold me to any of this. I should say thinking out loud with my pencil. I don't want to do that. I want to do this down here like this. So we're just going to do this and see what comes out. I'm really amazed at how much Gil Kane has influenced me in the past 15 years. I love the dynamics of his covers and how he just always draws you in with a really interesting cover design. And they're usually very simple. big characters. Um, and to me, that's always been the most effective. I know I harp on this all the time, uh, but it's the most effective way, I think, to do a cover. I don't like, you know, the posy covers, which we've done, everybody's seen a million of those. And those used to be kind of the main thing, mainly because we were doing covers. I'm talking about when I was working in the mainstream. We're doing covers for books that weren't going to come out for 3 months, but they had to be on the previews book. And a lot of times the scripts weren't even written. So it's like you couldn't tell somebody what to draw on the cover because you had no idea what was going on the issue. And see, this could be, again, this has this kind of thing with this, Space Girl in peril kind of thing, sort of has a pulp magazine sort of feel to it, I think, and that would work too. I have no idea what monster she's battling here. um, I hate to overuse the tentacle thing, but it's so easy to just have her wrapped up in tentacles and um, so I've kind of got her in a position here that she's not really supporting her own weight. So the fact of the matter is, what is she dealing with exactly? This would be perfect for like if she was like underwater and there was like some sort of weird sea monster. Um, and I'm starting to think of those Frazetta Buck Rogers covers. So what you got here now is this really large figure of Kit Carter. Now, if we take a look at this one, I still dig the design because it's this kind of 50s movie poster design, but then you got something like this. Now you've got a huge figure of Kit Carter right in the front. Um, I think Merv, I put Merv in there someplace. See, it's one thing when you have, I mean, I have a design figured out in my head, like the movie poster idea I had in my head, right? So it came out pretty easy. This, I'm thinking on the paper. So, there could be a million different changes here. Um, Fox, I don't have any pulps, but I do have Leyendecker covers from Saturday. I mean, I actually have the magazines. I collect Saturday Evening Posts with Leyendecker covers, and I don't just collect the covers. I actually collect the magazines, and they're actually not that bad. Except the Santa Claus ones are so hard to find and so expensive if you do find them. When I say so expensive, I mean not ridiculously expensive, but you know. Oh, Lizard tail instead of tentacle. I like that. She'd be caught in a gas cloud. Wait a minute. Are we going back to Star Trek here? Um, let's see. View Tis says there's a Taschen book full of pulp men's magazine covers. Wild images back then. Heck yeah, there were. Taschen does a lot of cool books. I got the Frazetta book back there on my shelf or on my counter. That gigantic thing. The dog's in here begging for food, but it's not dinner time yet, man. You're just gonna have to chill. There was like a I don't know what's some kind of beast here. Could be some like sort of weird serpent type thing. And it would make sense. I'm gonna swing this tail back all the way over here though. This actually might be making sense all of a sudden. Okay. We'll put Merv down here hanging on for dear life. My dog creeps in here, leaves the door open. I can hear the TV blast. All right, there we go. All right, so, all right, I think we're on to something here. So we got Merv down here. Okay, so let's do this. I just dropped my thing. All right. No, he's got. I saw a lizard with wheels. No, he's got like hind legs here, maybe like kind of a T-Rex kind of thing, but just like super long tail thing, maybe. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it at this point. Shugeth. Is that a Lovecraftian weirdo monster? Let's go for this and see what happens. I'm actually kind of digging this concept now. I usually don't do, this level of clarity on my layouts. This is for viewing purposes only. Although on something like this, where I don't really know what I'm doing or what I want to do, the more I work out, the probably the better, because it gives me a clearer idea if this is actually going to work or not. Now, of course, this tangent right here with Kit Carter and this, his head will have to be figured out, but I'll just go ahead and draw over the top of that. Yeah, anytime I can get sort of a reptilian thing going here, I'm all for it, because I'm a reptile guy for sure. My wife, however, is not a reptile person, and that is why we're probably still not in Florida. And maybe the hurricanes too, and all the bugs. But other than that, not exactly 100% in love with his head yet. I got to work on it, but not bad. Not bad for just off the cuff. All right, so let me fix this. Driving me nuts. We'll just do this. Make this a little bit smaller. My dog's just letting you know he's here. If they bred watchdogs for delivery guys, can make a fortune on our dog. Okay, so we got this sort of gnarly lizard tail thing. I gotta tell you, a lot of times doing this, I'll sit there and go, "Oh, do I want to live stream?" The pressure and all that kind of stuff. But so a lot of times I talk myself out of live streaming when I'm doing design work or even drawing stuff. And but I'll tell you right now, man, I am so thrilled to be drawing again, because, like I said, I haven't done it in almost a month, which is just absurd. But it's just the way the schedule's worked out with getting the book ready. So I was just like, you forget until you step away from it for a little bit. You forget how therapeutic, just kind of drawing and without any pressure, you know. And then you do something like this, you get a design that you really like, and you start thinking, you're dreaming about oh my gosh, I can't wait to do a finished piece of this and see how it turns out. For those of you guys who are art collectors, I will be on the Kit Carter campaign. I will be selling several of the pages from the Kit Carter story in Wraith of God Blood Hunters. So they will be available on the campaign if you're into that kind of thing. I did a little redesign on her costume, but like I said, I worked it into the story, so it'll make sense. And obviously, you're not going to be able to tell on the sketch, but it will be a thing. It's funny. I always portray Merv like he's a liability. It's kind of like how they used to do the Invisible Girl back in the early days of the Fantastic Four. You know, she cooked and then got herself in trouble, and that was all she really did. Poor Sue Storm. Now the problem with this is we've got both these guys going the same direction, which I don't like. So what I would do is I would flip Merv so he's coming this way. So we got Kit going this way and him going that way. Uh, so this would be his hind leg. There's haunch. I'm not going to be able to. I'm losing myself here in the. There we go. I give him some spikes here. So it's almost like a Chinese dragon, maybe, in a weird way. I gotta get a smaller pen to do the faces. It'll just be like one big old mush. Oh, you guys are commenting about these things up here. This is what I do when I'm talking on the phone. So, okay. Let's see. What's it? Those guys, watch out for his pleasure stick. Are you talking about the Asian pleasure sticks? I have a whole box of them up here. Um, Hey, if you guys are new to this channel and just checking it out, see what's up, please hit the like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. It helps me grow this channel, which gives me a wider reach and a platform to sell my books. And speaking of which, you know, a lot of you guys, most of you guys, do a great job of, you know, retweeting and getting the word out about the books. And I really appreciate you guys' contribution. Because a lot of ways, you guys are like producers or investors in these projects because you're putting up money before the product uh, comes out. So it's like you're producing the book. And so thank you. And I appreciate your help to get it done. because it's always amazing. I was talking to David Williams earlier today about, you can have gazillion followers and only a few backers. So the amount of people you need to see your products or your campaigns or your comics, whatever, is so enormous just to get a decent amount of backers, because the percentages are super low. It's like less than 5% of the people, like say, that follow you on social media will actually back your project, which is just mind numbing when you think about it. You think, why would that be? But it is the truth. And so the more people that see this stuff, the more chance we have of it being a success. And again, I thank you guys for always being very attentive to passing the word and posting, just even posting in the chat. I really appreciate it. All right, so there's Kit. Get Merv down here. Really, I got to start thinking about that show this coming week. Not this weekend, but next weekend. They made me get an insurance waiver, or not just me, but everybody now. So I'm not sure I understand. Some places they'll make you get seller's permits and all this other stuff, but this was the first time everybody be required that we do an insurance waiver. And so I'm assuming that if you get hurt loading or uploading your stuff, that you can't sue them or something. I guess I don't know. I haven't heard of too many people getting injured at a Comic Con, at least by going to somebody's booth. But I got to start figuring out what I'm going to take and haul around and see how much weight I can carry before I hurt my back again. That kind of fun stuff. I don't know what the midnight movie this week is. I got a local theater that shows midnight movies, and they're usually like old, like sci-fi stuff and weird stuff. I like going to it, but I don't get to home till like 2 a.m. Which, if you're a young party hound, that's fine. But my body doesn't like staying up that late anymore. But I do like going to the movies, so we shall see. We shall see. Okay, so then if we do the box art again, which I'm kind of digging this idea of the box. I don't know why. I like those. You guys, anybody that follows me knows that I like those 1972 Marvel covers where they have the little box, the cover. So if we did it like this, I would have to do, it'd be like Planet Doom would be down here, just kind of written across the bottom. Kit Carter in Planet Doom. So it would kind of stretch across here. So I might have to raise that box up to about right there. Again, kind of like the those 1972 box covers. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you in just 1 second. Put that up there. Okay. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Pardon the clicking. Um, okay. Let me take a moment, if I may, to pimp my campaign. But first, Chris Thacker for $1.99. Homage cover to Frazetta EC sci-fi comics. Sort of, isn't it? Kind of has that feel to it. I was thinking Buck Rogers, when I started doing this. Um, how much to be an executive producer? Yeah, well, I'll let you know when I get my final printing bill. Wait a minute. You like the 70s circles best with the characters, the 70s circles. Are you talking about the corner box? Marcus Kilgrove might be code and shit. Really? Do you think so? That's true. Comics for Life says this cover has a Neil Adams vibe too. Well, let me tell you, I'm a Neil. I love Neil Adams. He was a huge influence on my work, as well as Wrightson, as well as Frazetta, as well as everybody else you see me ripping off here in these. Um, okay, so just in case there's just weird outside chance that someone in the chat hasn't backed this book or isn't familiar with it, this is the book that I'm finished with. It's at the printers. I just got the notification from my designer that he uploaded it to my printer rep, so it's on its way. Um, uh, so this is Wraith of God, Blood Hunters. It's sort of a Batman of the Old West. He hunts monsters, and he has a partner named Esther. She's sort of his Alfred, kind of his partner in all this, and they're fighting a Hammer Films vampires. It looks like that's what it looks like to me, anyway. Um, so what do I bring this up for? Oh yeah, yeah. Why could I? What possible motivation could I have to bring this up? Here's some of the free stuff you get. You get a free Kit Carter trading card. This actually in this book, if you're saying, man, I'm into this Kit Carter chick, this is her first appearance is in this book. So there you go. Look at that Dan Lawless Wraith of God trading card. That's free. You get that when you order. The Garbage Man trading card. That's free when you when you order. Look at that. The Queen of Hearts Esther playing card. You get this for free when you order. These are expensive to produce. I just told Shelly, remind me never to do any more of these. They're super expensive, but cool. So I had to do them. Adam Miller was our art contest winner, and he's got a big pinup in the back of the book. So that's in there. You have 4 cover options. I got Simon Bisley, who's now a friend of mine. How about that? To do the cover for me. And it's a huge painting. I've got it overhanging on my wall. But if you're like, I did an unboxing video of this. So if you check my channel and go to there's like live and then there's like videos. And under the videos, there's an unboxing of this painting and we take a really close look at it. So there's the wraparound cover. This, I redid the coloring on this. So this is just kind of was the placeholder coloring and I juiced up the coloring on it. I should show you that. In fact, I will in a few minutes. That's the Tales of Suspense version. Okay, with a look at the old style Marvel letter box or a character box up here. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is a Tomb of Dracula. Speaking of Neil Adams, this is a Tomb of Dracula #1 tribute cover. And these boxes were all on the 1972 Marvel comics, and I really, really like those. Even though it limits how much space you actually have to draw, but I like the fact that they're contained. And if you take a look at this right here, that's what I'm talking about. So the planet Doom down here would kind of run across like the Night of the Undead does at the bottom of this cover right here. So it'd be kind of a take on that a little bit. Here's some of the color art interior. Dan Lawless did the coloring on this Garbage Man story. It's very Wrightsonish. You guys will love it. Kelsey did the coloring. It looks like he appeared in the comic as well, but he did the coloring on the nightclub story, the big old elephant guy. And then, of course, here it is, first appearance of Kit Carter. You'll find it right here in this comic book. And there's the Garbage Man print I was talking about. Those are signed and numbered, limited to 350, I think. And then the Wraith of God Roughs Volume 2, which is a sketchbook that lays out, that shows 48 pages of roughs, page roughs. So it's very interesting to kind of look at this and see what my layouts were and then what the finished pages end up looking like. There's the Mer of the Astro Chimp trading card. Everybody that signed up early, and this is the importance of signing up early, you guys, on campaigns. And like I said, I got the Kit Carter sign up going right now on Indiegogo. So go and sign up. The link's in the description of this video, as well as the link to this campaign. But go and sign up, because when you order, you'll get something free, and it's a David Williams trading card. In this case, people that signed up early get the Mer of the Astro Chimp card for free. You can also buy this for $5, but you'd rather get it for free. And all you have to do is just sign up. Doesn't cost you anything. So anyway, and we got hats, Garbage Man trade paperbacks still available. I'm looking to get more Power Cubed trade paperbacks. They're a little bit more scarce, but I'm running out of Garbage Man too. And then shot glasses, the Wraith of God shot glass and the Garbage Man shot glass. And then this was the last piece of original art that was up for sale, and that's already gone. I think Fox Mulder got it. And this is for the bookmark that also comes free with any order. So you just order a book and you get all those cards and stuff for free. So anyway, there's that campaign. Again, you will find the link to all this stuff, links, in the description of this video. I did want to bring up that, if I can find it, there's my recoloring. There it is. And I'll show you real quick what I did here that was different. Hang on a second here. Okay. So what's different? I put some extra shadow down here and some highlights on Esther and some extra shadows in his cloak and some highlights on his cloak and his face. I did a little bit of rim light here, this pink rim light on this side. It was pink over here, but I moved this to a blue, a cooler one on the other side. I put some blue over the top of these vamps in the background so they would fade back, and put some highlights and some deeper shadows on her, and the same with these girls here. So you've got this and this lighting effect that almost looks like there's a spotlight right on them, and the rest of this is a little bit darker, but not so dark you can't see, obviously, what's going on. And brightened up this background and darkened up the sky and brightened up this kind of pinkish hue back here. Put some extra shading on these girls as well, just to kind of punch it up a little bit. So you had greater contrast between the lights and the shadow areas. So it's a little bit brighter and a little bit more focused. Anyway, I did that in Photoshop. How about that? Technology. So there you go. Pastmaster Dan says, I dig that mausoleum. I think I found it someplace and copied it. Not traced it, but used it as reference. Craig Smith says, Neil Adams, in my opinion, was ahead of his time. I read the Denny O'Neil Adams Batman from the 70s. Man, great stuff. Incredible stuff. And yes, he was very talented and ahead of his time. Comics Legends must have just stepped in. Yeah, I'm working on the cover for it right now. There's that's the next campaign is going to be Kit Carter Planet Doom graphic novel. And it will be in the same format as these old Marvel graphic novels from the 80s. So 8.5 by 11, square bound, of course. Full color. 64 pages. So, and if the campaign funds it the way that I hope it does, and I think it will, I'll be hiring my favorite inker to ink it. And the idea is that this book then will ship in the spring, or hopefully early spring of next year. So the turnaround time on it will not be that great because I'll be working with an inker. And then I'm not going to say for sure until I've got him locked up because it's going to depend on his availability. But then that allows me to jump into Wraith of God 3, Fear Hollow, like and launch that campaign in May, or hopefully no later than June of next year. So the idea is to get this company moving so that I'm producing 2 books a year instead of one every 12 to 14 months. So anyway, so here's what we've accomplished today. And what do you guys think? Should we go with the classic 50s movie poster or the more traditional action-oriented cover with a big figure of Kit? So there's this, or something similar to this. I'm not saying exactly this design, but something similar to this, or something more similar to this, where you have it kind of like a 50s sci-fi movie poster. What is my dog doing back there? I don't know. So those are no, no, and no. Brian and 999 says, love this Kid Carter classic. Cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, he's at, well, it looks like your question got answered past Master Dan. Neil Adams didn't do Neil Adams didn't do an Iron Man comic, but he did draw him in the Avengers. You're right. That was 93. Avengers 93, 94, 95, and 96. So those 4 issues. 93 is a double-sized issue. The action cover seems more pulpy. I think you're right. Haruka Saki, he likes #1 though. Action cover with bigger Kid image. People seem to be, Fox can't decide, so he's going to leave it up to me. Dale says #1. Marcus Killer says hard to choose. Now he's going with 2. Of course, Chris Thacker's whichever has bigger boobs. That would be this one. That would be this one because the character is bigger. I don't know. You know what I could do? I'll use one for the cover, and the other one I could use for the print. I could throw out the. And I've also got to do a T-shirt design. So I don't know. Maybe this movie poster one for the T-shirt design. Sven Svensson says 2. Okay. 2. People seem to be leaning towards 2. It's true, but here's the thing: I really don't want to do that many covers on this one. So the one I do, either this or this, is going to be a hardcover, signed and numbered, limited edition. The other cover I've already commissioned is going to be on the regular paperback edition. I really don't want to go to 3 covers, but maybe you guys should talk me into it. I'm doing 3 covers. Make a large poster of the first one. So basically go and make a huge movie, 24 by 36 movie poster is what you're saying of this. Actually make it a movie poster. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, no, I already had Dale do one. I had him do the werewolf cover. I'm gonna keep it fresh, man. I keep different people doing different things on different projects. So the big question is going to be when I do the Wraith of God 3 Fear Hollow who would be the guest artist. I have someone in mind, but I don't know if I can get him or not, but I will try. Well, the thing, it depends on how you do it. They're not that bad if you do them to order digitally, like I did my oversized Jaws posters. Um, but to print up, I don't know what a print run would have to be. You'd probably need to do like 500, and that's a lot of movie posters. Um, so even if you had 100 people buy them, it probably wouldn't be enough. That's the difficult thing with it. There's Dan Lawless in the chat. Dan, of course, colored in his most Wrightsony way possible the Garbage Man backup story in Wraith of God Blood Hunters, and it's really, really cool. So that's definitely one of the bright spots in the book. Fox Mulder says he'd buy a Kit Carter movie poster in a second. I'll look into it and see what my printing costs would be on something like that, because there's two ways to go. You go 24 by 36, which is basically standard poster size, or you go 27 by 41, which is classic actual one sheet movie poster size. Then I got to buy a bunch of tubes to mail them in. Well, we'll see. I'll check it out. I will check it out. I will give you guys the benefit of the doubt on this, and I will check it out and price them out and see what because that would, gosh darn it, that would be cool. Now you guys are talking me into it. Thing is, I don't have time to paint it, so I'd have to do it traditionally. I can get something like Brad Anderson to color it. That'd look fantastic. Oh boy, you guys are talking me into it. All right, well, food for thought. And I got to make up my mind pretty quick, so I got to get that campaign together. Get Anna to do a cosplay cover with Phil. If she could, she had to put the costume. I had to pay for the costume. Ugh. It's everything all you guys' ideas cost me money. Oh boy. Hey, there I am. Well, people, thank you guys for joining me today. It's 4:00. My dog's begging for food. It's time for me to move on and actually do some work on the old drafting table. But thanks for hanging out, and appreciate your commentary and your suggestions and all that kind of stuff. Make Phil. Phil is like 6'5". He could not be the monkey. I'm just reading the chat here real quick. Because maybe not a movie size poster, but maybe with a 4-page fold out cover like the poster inserts in the old Image days. Oh gosh, guys that stuff is so complicated. Most people are leaning towards Kit Carter versus the lizard thing, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm kind of thinking you guys are right. I think this may be the way to go. And then we'll save this movie poster idea, which I've had for quite some time, to actually do a movie poster of something like this. All righty. So anyway, you guys, thanks for your contributions. I greatly appreciate it. Hey, let's start. Yeah, you just missed everything. I know some of you guys actually work outside of your home, and you guys, on the West Coast, I'm doing this stuff in the middle of the day. You're like, I gotta watch the rerun, but the rerun's exciting. Would you get Shatner to direct the Kit Carter movie? I would direct the Kit Carter movie before I'd let Shatner direct it. Dual fold out like a Playboy. Aaron, did you see my gesture drawing video? I'm curious as to what you think of it. I saw that you posted about it, Dan, but I have not checked it out. I will do that. And everybody else do it too. So I guess, Dan, you're branching out and finally doing your own YouTube channel. Finally. So. Oh, I agree. They're going to run it this weekend to death. I guarantee you that's going to happen. Well, I can't guarantee it since I'm not on the coaching staff, but I would imagine that's what they're going to do. Marcus Killigrew loved your video, Dan, so there you go. Okay, so Brian has been here the whole time. All right, Brian. I felt bad. All right, so I've said goodbye. I'm like Billy Tucci. I keep saying goodbye, but I never leave. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Make sure you tune in to Aaron Live Sunday at 4 o'clock. I've got a new feature called Who's That Guy? And we'll be looking at maybe some artists that you've never heard of before that I happen to be quite fond of. And so that'll be a new feature, so that'll be kind of fun. Kevin Grievous keeps threatening to come on the show, so that's going to be happening soon, but I don't know exactly the date yet, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And then Monday night, we'll be closing out Wraith of God Blood Hunters on Comicsgate Kings. Tuesday, of course, Professionals. I'm hosting. I have a new game show in mind, so that'll be fun. And then Wednesday, right back here on Graybeards. So full week of exciting stuff. I'll keep you guys posted as Blood Hunters progresses through the printing process to give you updates constantly about when the book will be shipping in and when you can expect to be getting yours. So anyway, thanks, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe, and we will see you soon.